watching the ZNS Health Zone. ZNS Health Zone is sponsored by Doctors Hospital. Other sponsors include the National Workers Credit Union, Freeport Insurance Agents and Brokers, Save More Drugs, and Insurance Management.
Welcome to Health Zone. I'm your host, Ricardo Lightbourne. Doctors Hospital Grand Bahama construction started in March of this year, and with the groundbreaking ceremony. Well, it's been all systems go for the facility there, and an estimated cost of some $20 million. Well, today I have the pleasure of sitting with the president and CEO, Dr. Charles Diggs, and he's going to tell us exactly where we are at this point with the whole renovation and the construction of the new facility here on Grand Bahama. And first of all, let me say it is indeed a pleasure, sir, to have you with us this morning. This has been all systems go from day one. In your viewpoint, are you on schedule? And how is the construction and the process of getting the hospital ready and open by July going?
So thank you very much, Ricardo, for the opportunity for us to talk about this project. Specifically, being on time and on budget, you could appreciate that most construction projects would not end up on time, sometimes 2 times, 3 times over the time as well as budget. So we're not different in that sense. We discover along the way things that we need to do differently, change orders, etc. But in a general sense, it is very and highly likely that we will be open for business at that facility next year, 2024. Now, whether that's early or late would depend on some other controlling factors, but that is the intent, to open up the ground floor, the emergency room, a lot of the support services on the ground floor, the dialysis facility on the ground floor, at least get that going. The extended services are on the 2nd and the 3rd floor. This would mean our ability to accommodate inpatient care, operating room, etc. Then we would anticipate that we would segue into that perhaps end of 24 and into 2025.
This undertaking must have taken a lot of planning and discussion. When was the decision made for you to just jump into this and ensure that there's a facility here in Grand Bahama that will be able to provide quality health care for residents here and even visitors that will come to this island?
That's great. See, history is so important with this project. Doctors Hospital has made 2 forays into Grand Bahama historically. We came in the diagnostic space. Didn't work. Quite a number of projects in Grand Bahama also suffered that kind of fate. So we realized that the way to come into Grand Bahama has to be through Grand Bahamian interest. So unique with this particular project was the invitation by a group of philanthropists who recognized that especially emergency healthcare, critical care, needed to be available 24/7, consistent, reliable. And they believe that Doctors Hospital represented the ability to provide that kind of consistency and reliability. So the invitation essentially came from that sector, and they put their money where their belief happened to be, that this can happen. There's a Bahamian entity that can do this. Let's invite these folks back, Doctors Hospital Health System, back into our space, and let's give them a jump start. And the jump start was the donation of the first commercial center, which, you know, $5-6 million already in. That's quite a gift, and that's quite an obligation that it put on us, quite a responsibility. Now that we have this particular stakeholder group of philanthropists, let's get really serious about what we're going to do in Grand Bahama. And as a result, the development of the Grand Bahama Hospital, or the Rockwell, one of the philanthropists who put significant funds into it, and we graciously decided, and he accepted, that we would name the hospital, you know, after him. So the Rockwell Hospital then came about, and it really is the pinnacle of our strategy. So if you look at the hospital as the end point, and this is phase 1, what you see now, having acquired the land and property around that hospital, that positions us quite nicely to move into phase 2, which is post-25.
Right.
And phase 2 then answers a bit of the concern that you were speaking about earlier, which is beyond creating a facility with comparable capabilities and capacity to Nassau, how do we take that beyond? How do we make it a referral center? How do we make it a place where patients in Nassau or even in central and southern the Bahamas would want a need to come to it? So that's our phase 2, which is the advanced services, the next level of specialization. And for the obvious reasons, we believe, with reference to acute care, critical care, extended care, that the movement should be from south or central to north, and then from north to further north,
right,
as opposed to bouncing around. You could imagine it makes no sense for a Grand Bahamian to come to Nassau for services and discover, well, what I need really exceeds the capacity and capability in Nassau, then fly back over Grand Bahama going back to the U.S. So our vision then is that we create a facility, tertiary care facility, that in phase 2 answers the extended specialization concerns, cancer, cardiac, stroke management, stroke care, transplant, etc. We need to take it there at this facility in the Bahamas. And right now we elected not to take it to that level in New Providence. Mm-hmm. So this becomes our signature, our reference facility in phase 2.
You know, a lot of our people are fickle when it comes to medical care. How do you reassure Bahamians that this facility will be a dream facility reality-wise, so that they can feel comfortable as soon as you walk in, you are in a place where you are known to get quality service? How do you sell that point to our people? Because you know we're funny.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're very fickle about our services.
No, I think fickle, I wouldn't, I mean, you know much better than I. I'll be more diplomatic, and let's just say that they're discerning. So in an effort to address that issue, we know that it's all about credibility, ultimately. And, you know, you can't come half-stepping in a Grand Bahamian community. They've gone through so much. So our belief is this: we need to partner with a global entity. And right now, we're having some fairly fruitful developments, 2 years in development conversations, relationship with the Cleveland Clinic. The idea being that even for the most discerning or skeptical Bahamian, once they see that Doctors Hospital has the stamp of approval for quality and safety and standards of care, reviewed and approved, quote-unquote approved, by a global partner like the Cleveland Clinic, that brings its own assurances, because the Cleveland Clinic brand, a strong global brand, is partnering with a strong Bahamian brand. And then we just hold the line. We just keep doing what we do. What the Grand Bahamians will see is the outcomes, because that speaks volumes for whether I should come to your facility. And it's not, you know, it's not a huge community. People will start to talk and say, boy, you know, I went, or my cousin went, my mom went, and here's what the outcome is. So when all the smoke is cleared, when all of what we have to say about, you know, how good we are and quality, it really comes down to the experience of patients in Grand Bahama. That's what's going to answer that concern that you bring up. I went to that facility, or I went to that brand, because you appreciate we have quite a number of facilities, including this one, right, Freeport Medical Clinic, the Cavala Center in 8 Mile Rock. And like we enjoy saying, we're really just getting started in terms of bringing the appropriate health care to the convenience of the community. And Grand Bahama is much more than Freeport. Mm-hmm. So, and 8 Mile Rock. So our intent then is to make sure that when anybody has to make a decision about something seriously wrong with them, that they select to go to the strong brand, Doctors Hospital Grand Bahama, and they select it because they know, or other people are saying, that this is how they handle people. This is what that customer service about. This is how the experience is safe.
Right.
This is how these people are empathetic. This is how they have amazing technology that they apply appropriately. They care, they're smart, they're good at what they do, and they want to be a partner with the Grand Bahamian community.
Very, very important. Take me a little bit west to the Kamala Center. I know you just recently got that open. It's moving. How is that operating at this juncture?
So Kavala is doing amazing. Again, Kavala speaks to our values of acknowledging the role of physicians, and Dr. Kavala, made a huge impression in the 8 Mile Rock community, so we found it quite natural, and he was very graceful, allowing us to use his name to brand that facility. A year later, the facility is basically fully subscribed, and we now need to extend ourselves. We anticipated that, so we'll have to bring on additional services. Lab, imaging, and pharmacy are the next level of services. That's why it becomes really important for us, once we get located, to look at the additional opportunities and the properties around us, because we know it's not going to be that for long. And
Right.
Kavala has done exactly that. It's outstripped the needs that come to it. So we're very proud of its statement to the community. Doctors Hospital is here. You can feel the brand. There's much more that we need to do, especially in terms of supplemental services. We're bringing them, and we're trying to make it less necessary for you to have to run into Grand Bahama, into Freeport.
Right.
One of the key things that we did at that facility is to locate 6 dialysis machines, which further west of Kavala, patients with the needs for dialysis need not take that long drive 3 times a week seeking dialysis in Freeport, just across the street from here. So, or at Durand, for example. So we anticipating that this is going to be a very important need for patients located further west. Let's go ahead and do that.
A very bold initiative. That's a very bold initiative, having the largest settlement, and to establish yourself in that area, and like you stated, being able to get the message to the community that this facility is, one, available, A1. You no longer have to trek to Freeport in order to get the services necessary, and there is a comfort zone, I believe, that clinic also has provided for that community.
Yeah, no, you're right, Ricardo. See, the regard that the community will have for us is whether we ask ourselves the right question. And the right question is, what is the most important thing to the members of the community? It's not about Doctors Hospital's brand, that helps. But what really clinches the belief that Doctors Hospital, the Bahamian brand, is here for us is we ask you the question, what do you think is the most important thing for you? And when we ask members of the community, we engage physicians who live, work in this community, who have reputation in this community. Sure, we'll have to bring some specialty help from outside.
Right.
But we exist almost exclusively to meet the needs, the convenience, the access, and importantly, deal with the issue of cost to wherever the communities are that we decide to locate in. Yes, we are a business, so we have to apply a business formula. The communities need to be at least minimally economically viable for us to exist. I think you could appreciate that. But beyond that concern, once we feel fairly comfortable that we're bringing a valuable contribution to a community, then it becomes really organic. Our relationship with the community will mean that we grow, the service we provide grows, the community partners with us, and then it becomes limitless. We just keep going the way as we directed by the needs of the community.
It's called vision. And having the medical vision to understand that this country of ours, our people, are in dire need of quality medical care. And to be able to provide that, like you said, by word of mouth, that will go miles and miles, and somebody as simply as going into the social media platform and providing information or stating, like you said, that my cousin, my mother, my aunt, whoever has had quality health care, that goes a long way. And so that kind of reassurance is what our people is looking for. I don't have to get the headache of trying to get to the west of Florida. I could get it right here.
Right. And if I had to, then we would facilitate and expedite you getting to the right place in Florida by us partnering with the right people. So we're kind of removing the anxieties that people have. Classically, it's been, you know, if you raise the issue of needing or wanting to go to Florida, it's a battle. Well, let's reverse that, because that really is wasted energy. If that's what you desire, then let's at least have the conversation. Sure, we'll make it clear to you that we're going to provide these services. But the issues of trust and confidence sometimes have nothing to do with us, and I think we need to get less sensitive, those of us who are in the business, if you like, of providing health care.
Right.
When somebody's making a decision about where they want to go, then your best role sometimes, beyond letting them know that what you seek is available locally, but that wasn't the question that they were asking you. They really were asking you, could you help me to get where I'm going? Maybe when they return, they will realize that because of your attitude about it, maybe it's really good and helpful now for us to continue with you, especially if you have a relationship with where they're going.
And I think that's also important, and also having the quality professionals to take you down that road becomes very, very essential. Service is essential in getting that confidence level up to make people feel good about walking into the door and receiving that kind of medical care.
Yeah, and we need not take trust for granted. You know, you got to earn the trust, as we have to earn the trust in this community. We have to earn the trust every day in New Providence. And that trust really comes from the experience that people continue to have with us, the ability for us to facilitate your move to where you want to go, the ability for us to remain available when you return, and the ability for you to realize that, you know, when you speak to your physician abroad, they actually recognize the Doctors Hospital Health System brand, what we represent, what we're committed to, what we're trying to do, what we're going to do in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas as far as taking healthcare on to another level. Well, we're doing it with partnerships. We're not doing it with any fight. We're basically exploring whatever's possible. We're creating capacity. We're partnering with communities. That's it. We're not in the battles that's going to waste our energy or waste our time.
And I think that's also very, very important. A great move here by Doctors Hospital to get away from the centralized process we've seen in our country over the years and to take medical care to you throughout the country. Grand Bahama being the first stop. There are some other plans on the road as far as Doctors Hospital. Health Zone, let's keep you right on top of what's going on. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're watching the ZNS Health Zone.
For all your insurance needs, life, health, homeowners, marine, and so much more, we are Freeport Insurance agents and brokers located at Freeport Insurance Center, number 21B West Mall Drive, Freeport, and in Nassau at Suite A3A, East Bay Plaza, East Bay Street. We specialize in you.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Maintaining strong relationships with superior customer service. Fulfilling all your insurance needs through commercial, property and casualty, marine and aviation, homeowners and contents, automotive for private and commercial, life insurance, medical, and pension investments. Being the best at who we are in Freeport since 1980.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
A name you've come to know and trust.
We've always been there for you.
So call us today at 350-3500 or visit our office on Pioneers Way.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited. Honestly,
nobody does it better.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and 0 upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off labs, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
We all need to save. Save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription nutrition needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop, the new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save more drugs, your more store.
Make the best decision of your life and become an active and valued member of National Workers Cooperative Credit Union today. Call 352-9624 or 826-8670. National Workers Cooperative Credit Union.
Janae's Uniform Center. We've traveled to every island in this here land, man. We go everywhere. We can go to every rock and key, Abaco to Inagua, even Ragged Island, The Rock. Celebrate our country's 50th independence with Janae's special limited edition. Sublimated t-shirts and caps in 10 different styles and colors. Get up to 50% off on cotton polo shirts only. Don't forget to embroider your company's logo to celebrate this independence at Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Call 394-8385 or 6. WhatsApp text only 817-3295. Email sales@janaes.com.
When you combine decadence, luxury, passion, and attention to detail, you've described Café Channing Noel and Patisserie. Signature authentic French macarons, croissants, pastries for breakfast and lunch will take you on a European Epicurean journey. Enjoy your favorite handcrafted cocktails, coffees, cappuccinos, espressos, and lattes. Life is sweet at Café Channing Noel.
Welcome back to Health Zone, everybody. I'm Ricardo Lightborn, and we are having a wonderful time today talking about what's going on and Doctors Hospital venture here into Grand Bahama in phases that is unique and also gaining the confidence of many of the residents here on the island and providing quality medical health care. It is going to be a wonderful time as we now introduce to you the CFO of Doctors Hospital, that is Dennis DeVoe. And he is having himself a wonderful day on the phone, finding funding and all the other good stuff that comes with this. $20 million estimated for this project. That's a massive undertaking, and it took some planning. Tell me about the planning of putting this together.
So thank you so much for that. I think at the onset, it's very important to understand that Doctors Hospital had a significant contribution from a group of local philanthropists who essentially secured an initial round of financing to the tune of roughly $3.5 million to purchase the former First Commercial Center that we are now going to convert to a world-class medical facility. And so when we get that kind of vote of confidence, certainly from high net worth and wealthy philanthropists seeking to partner with a thriving and certainly, amazing local company, it's that kind of thing that causes us really to look deep at our own strategy. And so beyond the initial gift, we've crafted a strategy around financing this expansion. That strategy fundamentally has two core components. The first component is to engage the Bahamian public. And toward the end of August, we expect to come to market with a new equity offering that invites the Bahamian public to take this journey with us. Certainly Grand Bahamians, but beyond Grand Bahamians, all Bahamians who can expand their participation by being owners in Doctors Hospital. And that becomes a core component of how we finance an important project like this. The rest then is some combination of debt and equity, obviously equity cash contribution from us, based on the fiscal strength and resiliency of the health system, especially out of COVID-19. We're fairly confident that regardless of what happens with our overall market raise, that the project is fully funded, and we expect to deliver it, obviously, within that budget sometime in 2025.
A bold move to take Doctors Hospital name outside of New Providence and into the islands, Grand Bahama being the first step. And I know down the line there may be other means. And then now with the public offering that's coming down the road, making Doctors Hospital a household name, how essential is that to you?
We think that fundamentally we have to be in all Bahamian communities that require our services. And that's less of a financial calculation or projection and more commitment by Doctors Hospital to be the leading medical institution in this country. And so we frame that strategy. It's commonly called our EAGLE initiative, where we've looked at Exuma and have recently opened a clinic in the last 30 days there in Georgetown. We've looked at Abaco and have some exciting folks on the ground doing research around our potential market entry there. Clearly the G is Grand Bahama, and our initiatives here would have already been covered with, Cavallo Medical Center on the western part of the island, the Freeport Medical Center, and then the full hospital. We're looking into Long Island. I've spent quite a bit of time, understanding the community, talking with local educators there, local government officials to understand the need. And then finally, obviously we look to Eleuthera. And so, this is a vision that looks beyond the fiscal commitments and really looks toward 2030 and tries to imagine what the footprint of Doctors Hospital must be to respond to the needs, the healthcare needs of Bahamian communities. And so, it's an awesome journey to be a part of. And I think certainly for the folks in Grand Bahama, the key word really is our commitment. At $20 million, that certainly expresses commitment. And we expect to have good returns on that. But beyond the fiscal aspects of our strategy, we want to say to the Bahamian people that as the leading medical institution in the Bahamas, we are there to respond to medical needs.
I call it deja vu. And the reason why I say this is I just recently came out of Exuma covering the regatta, the National Family Island Regatta. When I saw the building, I was like, no, they ain't serious about coming into Exuma. But when I saw the big sign of Doctors Hospital, and now here we are today discussing the fact that you are now taking services to all the other islands, not just Grand Bahama, and becoming a national icon. It's going to be very, very essential in gaining the confidence of the Bahamians. And that's essential as far as the name Doctors Hospital and giving people that confident specialty clinic medications, you name it, infusion of just service is essential as far as your planning and your outlook as far as moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's three stakeholders that I think that we want to maybe speak to as we roll out this strategy. We've chatted with about, our patients and our customers, folks that are seeking care. There's another stakeholder, and that is the international tourist, the international guest, the international investor that is looking into Exuma, that's looking into Grand Bahama, and asking a very, very important question. If I should become ill, should something happen to me, should I, suffer an unexpected emergency, where do I go for quality medical care on the ground? Who readies me for medical evacuation back to my home country? That's a very, very fundamental question that we think, once answered, will help with the national agenda of development in terms of attracting foreign direct investment into these traditionally underserved communities. So beyond patients, beyond customers, there's a second stakeholder group, international guests and international investors. The third stakeholder group that we don't want to certainly miss is our shareholders. These are the folks that have essentially funded and capitalized our growth. And that narrative really is a very, very compelling one. In 2019, Doctors Hospital as an organization would have been roughly half its size compared to what it is today. And in financial terms, financial people look at, for every dollar of revenue or activity, how much is returned to the bottom line. And in 2019, that would have been around 6 cents on every dollar. Not bad, but certainly, as we look at international benchmarks, we know that well-run healthcare organizations ought to do better than that. And so for shareholders, as we've executed and rolled out this strategy, not only have we sought to double the size of the organization in revenue terms, but we've also sought to improve the efficiency in which we operate, which means that instead of 6 cents on a dollar or 6%, that we should expect north of 10% on a net basis, and that we should even be looking to around 15% on an EBITDA basis, right? If I exclude things like depreciation, interest, and amortization, right? Common things that investors would know are really representative of past fixed investments and are not an indication of the current performance of the operation. So, we've got to speak to patients and customers. We've got to send a strong signal to investors and guests around the confidence of operating in the Bahamas outside of New Providence. And then our shareholders need to have confidence that, as aggressive as we are, the fiscal disciplines around running a great healthcare organization certainly are instilled in us at the level of the board of directors, and absolutely that management takes this job very, very, very seriously. And there's an important headwind that, as we address those 3 stakeholder groups, that we are continually mindful of, and that's this headwind of uncompensated care, right? And it plays out most commonly in the form of someone that is critically ill, needs life-saving intervention, but does not have the traditional financial resources to pay for that medical episode. And in more instances than not, clearly, Doctors Hospital is going to do the right thing to protect and to save life. And over the last 5 to 7 years, the magnitude or the quantum of uncompensated care has approached roughly $30 million for Doctors Hospital. And so we're clear-eyed, we're focused, that as we roll out this strategy, the obligation, certainly at the level of the directors and certainly for management, is that we have to do so in a fiscally prudent way, and we're absolutely committed to doing that.
Your financial portfolio that you will disseminate to foreign investors, local investors, as you will put the company on BISX and the various other trade entities, will assure that financial confidence, I think, that you're going to be needing in order to grow as you are doing so here in the Bahamas.
Absolutely. And if I just take a snippet out of that same narrative from 2019, if you were a shareholder in Doctors Hospital in 2019, our stock traded around $1.50 to $2 per share. Today, that's north of $10 per share. And so there's been significant capital appreciation for folks that have expressed confidence in certainly the vision of our president and CEO, Dr. Digges, and then the team of young, motivated Bahamians who are committed to executing that vision and serving our patients, right? And, obviously, as we've grown, we've spent significant capital in doing so, but we have to look beyond capital appreciation, and we have to look squarely at our dividend policy. How much of the net income and the profits of this organization do we target to return to shareholders? And so, I think confidence in the fiscal prudence of management, but also being mindful that, yes, already we have demonstrated, almost a 5-fold return on the capital appreciation side, and that we're squarely looking at our dividend yields to get those to a more attractive level for investors to be confident in.
And from a financial standpoint, as we've seen with medicines and medical care, it's evolving. Every day there's a new method of treatment. There are new things that are happening, and Doctors Hospital is keeping pace with that. And as the financial officer, you're looking at the cost structure of getting the same kind of services here to the island and to the residents, not just in New Providence, but here in Grand Bahama, and as you venture into the island. That's a difficult task, and I believe that's a task that you're now put a roadmap out on and looking at moving in that direction.
Absolutely. So, firstly, quality and safety stand at the forefront of everything that we do, right? Fundamentally, people come to Doctors Hospital because they believe they have the best chance, certainly, to improve the quality of that medical episode. And so in that regard, we have no financial prerequisite on what we will do to improve the quality of our care, to make it safer, and certainly to ensure that the experience is a rewarding one. So it's almost counterintuitive, right? You know, we're not going to have a litmus test on money to determine what the quality of care is going to be. That's absolute, and we're committed to that. At the same time, though, we have to look at all of the inputs, all of the things that we buy, the way that we manage our clinics. And we have to draw on insights from the best in the world. You know, Dr. Digges would have mentioned us benchmarking ourselves to the Cleveland Clinic and seeking their insight. How do we learn how to become a more efficient organization from them? But we have to then, you know, be critical of ourselves and seek to refine all of the critical inputs that go into the cost of healthcare. So labor, as an example, you know, as we want to be, yes, the best organization in the Bahamas to work for, we have to at the same time look for ways to deliver healthcare more efficiently, looking at our staffing models, using software tools to help us determine how many people we need to have on a particular shift, on at a particular location, based on data and predictive analytics. We have to be in the 21st century and beyond in the way that we structure and manage this organization. And yes, we believe if we do that, that we will lower our cost of operation. But I think the secret sauce, you know, after you demystify the financial algorithm here, really becomes engaging, attracting talented young Bahamians and empowering them to go about the business of serving their communities, and in so doing, running an amazing hospital.
That's one of the key points I wanted to bring to your attention. My sister works out of Georgia in the lab systems up there, and seeing where they are operating. When she came home, she goes to your clinic in New Providence, your hospital, and has a conversation with many of her colleagues that she went to school with. And providing that kind of interface is essential, and getting quality professionals who would want to come home and contribute to the medical health care of our country is essential. And I know you're the man who can write the checks, but trying to get them to come here and to be able to do that is an undertaking that I believe that you and the shareholders, as well as the board of directors, are all looking at.
Yeah. Well, you know, I made that decision personally, right? I had the great opportunity to work at a director level for Toyota's global organization, multi-billion-dollar organization. But I saw an opportunity to serve my community. But I think beyond asking Bahamians to serve, there are really two things that we have to fundamentally communicate. The first is that, you know, in terms of compensation, you know, we seek to match or do better than, you know, comparable jobs on a tax equivalent basis than the United States. And that's an ongoing journey. It requires data, it requires conversation, but we don't expect Bahamians to come home and certainly earn less. In fact, they should earn the same or more as they serve their communities. And then the final thing, we think that this is actually more important than compensation, is an opportunity to participate in the execution of an amazing vision, right? To join their fellow citizens, to participate in their profession at the highest levels in their home country. And we think if we could do those three things, cause them to commit to service, ensure that their compensation is at least equitable, if not better, and then let them know that the professional environment is just as technically challenging, it's just as rich, And with their service, that we can actually elevate the Bahamas to the next level in healthcare. We think if we put those three things together, we have a fighting chance of getting some Bahamians back home.
Hey, and also keep in mind, too, for those of you who's watching our program and you may be over there in California or in Texas, you're in Arkansas, you can come home, go to Exuma, work down there in Exuma as a physician for Doctors Hospital, enjoy the sand, the sea, and the sun, and also play golf. Can't go wrong. This is Health Zone. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back in just a moment.
You're watching the ZNS Health Zone.
For all your insurance needs, life, health, homeowners, marine, and so much more, we are Freeport Insurance agents and brokers, located at Freeport Insurance Center, number 21B West Mall Drive, Freeport, and in Nassau at Suite A3A, East Bay Plaza, East Bay Street. We specialize in you.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Maintaining strong relationships with superior customer service. Fulfilling all your insurance needs through commercial, property and casualty, marine and aviation, homeowners and contents, automotive for private and commercial, life insurance, medical, and pension investments. Being the best at who we are in Freeport since 1980.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
A name you've come to know and trust.
We've always been there for you.
So call us today at 350-3500 or visit our office on Pioneers Way.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited. Honestly,
nobody does it better.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and 0 upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off labs, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
We all need to save. Save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop. The new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
Make the best decision of your life and become an active and valued member of National Workers Cooperative Credit Union today. Call 352-9624 or 826-8670. National Workers Cooperative Credit Union.
Welcome back to Health Zone, everyone. I'm Ricardo Lightborn as we continue our discussions about Doctors Hospital and its expansion here to Grand Bahama and indeed throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Much has happened in the last couple of months, 3 months, in terms of the construction aspect here in Grand Bahama, and also in New Providence. Patient care also becomes a very essential part of what happens as far as Doctors Hospital is concerned. We are going to take a different twist here as we now talk about patient care. And joining me is 2 of my very good friends that I've known for a long time, the Thompsons, Elliot and Alex, who has come to sit with me this morning and to discuss something that's very near and dear to both of them. We never know when it's going to be our turn in terms of medical services and medical care. And the Thompsons have a unique story, and that story goes to taking care of your loved ones and doing what you have to do to ensure that they're comfortable. And for Elliot and Alex, it's been a long road, but it's a rewarding road to have you here today. How does it feel to be sitting here and realizing that the work and all that drive to make sure your hubby is taken care of is now with you?
Of course, it feels amazing. It feels great. He's healthy, he's strong, he's well. And, you know, a lot of gratitude goes to the community of Grand Bahama and those abroad, as well as specifically Doctors Hospital.
A pacemaker has been replaced by doctors and my friend over here to the side. What kind of a shock was that when you realized that this had to be done?
It happened pretty quickly, sooner than we thought. And one of the things we were told when he first got this device in was that it's more than just a pacemaker, it's an ICD device, so it does so much more. And they said it would last, you know, a good many years, but because his heart kind of depended on it a bit, we were like, okay. When we started hearing the sound about it, it was like, what is that sound? You know, I told him we were just throughout the house and we heard a device. You're surprised at how these devices are so high-tech. And we heard a little alarm going off, and for a couple of weeks, oh wow, we just heard this alarm going off. I thought he just didn't know how to use a cell phone. I just thought, you have an alarm set on your phone, you know, something's going on. And we really just thought, because you know, you travel everywhere with your cell phone. Right. And then one day we were out walking early in the morning, and this alarm went off again, and I said to him, give me your phone, let me see what alarm you have set. And he's like, I don't have it. And I realized, oh, it's you, you're beeping. And then, so once we called the doctor, we realized, oh, come in, get checked. And the technology is amazing. They can read off, put something on your heart and just read off, print out a report that says your device is now at end of life and needs to be changed.
Elliot, for you and the situation that you were in, how long have you had the pacemaker, and how long have you now, and how do you feel now as far as your health condition?
Well, I feel great. I was diagnosed in 2015, at the end of 2015, in December 2015, and I got a device implanted in me in 2016, July of 2016. And so I'm feeling great.
Elliot, you're too common, and you're too calm, man. All right, you know, most folks would be, you know, a little bit run, but I've known you for quite a while. I mean, you've always been very calm and very cool in terms of how you handle it. And today, here you are, going through the transition aspect of having the replacement. You're feeling pretty good at this juncture?
Yes, sir. Feeling great. I'm doing okay. You know, when I first was diagnosed in 2015, you know, it came as a shock. You know, young. I felt young, scrapping young man, and it felt good. But when diagnosed, then kind of went down. But I'm back up and good.
Then
feeling
also
good.
With your children and having to think about them and their welfare. I mean, this must have been a very interesting conversation both of you two were having.
It was indeed. It did affect my children quite a bit because you don't know exactly. He's young. When he was diagnosed, he wasn't well. We went to the doctors here, and they said, you know, we'll see what happens. He was immediately admitted to ICU when he went to the hospital just to get a checkup when he wasn't feeling 100%. Immediately put into ICU, ran some tests, and then they said, listen, we can't figure out. We need to send you to the U.S. Went to the U.S., and you know, it was interesting. The doctor that was there who saw us told us how exceptional our doctors here in the Bahamas are, in particular Doctors Hospital. He specifically said, you have amazing doctors here. And one of the reasons why we went to the U.S. because our insurance, you know, was able to take us there. And so that was a comfort, number one comfort, that even though we were transferred to a hospital in the U.S., they already told us initially, you have great doctors in the Bahamas who'll be able to take care of you. They realized they couldn't find any symptoms to treat or find what was wrong, and that's when they decided to give him the ICD. Coming back home, having to tell the children about this, and you know, what does that mean? Well, that means that your father needs a device to keep the heart going, to make sure he's okay. And that was a lot to take in for them. They were just in their last year of high school. I think it affected them, you know, for a couple of months, and it took them a little while, because, you know, it's a shock. You just do not expect it. I mean, one of the first things the doctor said is, how can that be? You're a young, 40-some-year-old man. They're like, do you drink? Do you smoke? He's like, no, I exercise, we run. He used to play football, you know? So, but yeah, but we were fortunate that we were able to get the device put in at that time, and then come home and, you know, did all we needed to do to make sure everything worked well. And then a few years later, we found ourselves right back there again, which we did not expect so soon.
And this was a very difficult road to go down in order for funding and all the other kind of stuff in Doctors Hospital, being able to open the door for you so that you could begin that process.
You don't realize when you have insurance, you know things are costly, but you pay your portion, and you're able to come up with your portion most times, and so that was fine. But of course now, during that time, you know, his career would have changed. We no longer had insurance, and because of his condition, he no longer qualifies for coverage for this device. So when we discovered that he needed to have the device changed, and we started researching the cost, we were like, oh, this is a very costly device that you have, and a very costly surgery. Just to do the replacement. I mean, as simple as you may think these things are, which they are, and doctors make it look so easy, the fact is it still needs to be paid for. It needs to be done in an environment where everyone is there to assist should anything go wrong. And, you know, we were able to put out a GoFundMe and get some help, but then we realized there's more to it. There is more to it. And we reached out to Doctors Hospital, and I mean, the experience that we had with them was amazing, and they were able to comp all of the fees associated with having this device put inside of him. And that was just, I mean, I give praise to God for it, and because we're talking about an organization, you know, that the goal is hospitals are here to help us, but the reality is a business. They have to make their money. It has to be paid for. The air condition runs, staff is there, everyone has to be compensated, and, you know, going back and forth, reaching out to them, and they were like, I remember getting the email that says, Mrs. Thompson, once you secure the device, we will handle everything else.
Well, that's something that I did speak to the CFO about, Dennis DeVoe, and he did mention the fact that there are incidents when you have to look at a patient's health structure rather than just the dollar value, because that life is essential, and that's what they build the foundation on. And I think once that hurdle was crossed, that made you feel, and I believe for Elliot, a whole lot better.
Yes, indeed. Of course. I mean, I think he can attest to it, his experience going into doctors, and you can share a little bit about how you felt going in there and how you were treated.
Well, yeah, they were remarkable. From the administration straight down to the nurses, they were remarkable. I must give them credit and thanks for what they did. Truly remarkable.
And such a delicate procedure, and a carefully orchestrated procedure, as you had mentioned, the replacement, having everything in place, and then that feeling that everything has worked out. And you look at Elliot now, you know, still quiet, still calm, nothing's changed.
Just here, Ricardo, just quiet here.
But for the family now, what is the feeling that Elliot has had the replacement and getting back to his old self again?
Do you know, for me, I think the biggest comfort was knowing that, okay, we can have this done at Doctors Hospital. It was done. The fact that they showed the level of compassion towards our situation, knowing that should we need them again, or should we need their services again, they're here. And now they're here on Grand Bahama. When I heard that they were coming, I was just ecstatic. You know, I'm like, they're here. Not taking away anything from any of the facilities here on Grand Bahama, but at the time when we needed this to be done, Doctors Hospital and their doctors were the ones that were able to do it for us. And so it gives us as a family just a peace of mind. I mean, to know that you have world-class service available to you, that you don't have to fly away from, that, you know, they're willing to consider your circumstances and your situation. The fact that even down to getting the device, one of the doctors with Doctors Hospital was able to help facilitate this. When we were originally going to order it, I mean, they said it would take upwards of, this was during the COVID time, so this would take upwards of maybe 2-3 months. And I'm like, we don't have 2 to 3 months. We need this device now. And even again, in that, one of those doctors was able to just, in my opinion, move, you know, mountains to have it happen. So there's nothing like the comfort of knowing that the service, the skill is available to you, and it's here.
Well, it's here, And like you heard from the Thompsons, they are doing very well in terms of the medical attention that they receive from Doctors Hospital. And I know for the most part, like Dr. Diggs said, point blank, the intention is to make sure that every patient that enters Doctors Hospital has special care and a special need, and they've been able to do that. There is a living icon over there, and my good friend Elliot, who is very, very quiet. I want to thank you both for coming in and sharing that unique story with us. I want to thank you, Grand Bahama, for all of your assistance, and indeed the country for making sure that my buddy Elliot is here. He's not going to play football anymore, okay?
Not
and,
this time, no.
Not tennis, but he's going to go walking every day.
Yes, he does.
And make sure he keeps everything in order, and he'll be around for a long time to come. Okay, Alex?
Yes,
It's good to see you.
Thank
Elliot,
you.
what a pleasure. Again, this has been Health Zone. I'm Ricardo Lightbourne. It's been fun talking to two of my good friends, and the energy that Elliot has, someday I will have too. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're watching the ZNS Health Zone.
And welcome back to Health Zone as we are discussing Doctors Hospital's investment here in Grand Bahama and indeed the country. As we've heard, down in Exuma, looking at Eleuthera, much will happen, but Grand Bahama is now the focal point of a unique hospital that is under means in terms of construction. Much is happening here, and so we're very, very proud of that. Also with me now is Dr. Diggs, who has been the person that's been thriving to make sure that medical health care in this country goes beyond what we've seen over the years, and Doctors Hospital is right on pace to see that happen. So for you, sir, this project is very personal to you as a physician and as the lead person. You should be feeling pretty good about what's happening at this juncture with Doctors Hospital in the country.
I absolutely do, Ricardo. And the thing that excites me more than anything else is what's possible. And what's possible in terms of throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, getting the thinking in the healthcare space to move to become in tandem with our customers or our patients, depending on how you want to look at them. I think our patients are and have been saying to us for a long time, we want you to bring the solution, but the solution is not necessarily packaged in the manner that fits traditional teaching.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor making all of the decisions and hospitals built in particular places that cause you to figure out how to get to them. If we switch that paradigm, which is what Doctors Hospital is about, and looking for, tell me your needs, getting the questions right, locating ourselves to the convenience of the communities and the patients, provide services that meet our end. You know, pay attention to what really affects us, what bothers us. Pay a lot of attention to the empathy, just the compassion, the caring. I think most Bahamians appreciate that. The healthcare, private healthcare business is a business. You don't have to convince them of that. They travel, they go abroad, they see physicians abroad, and the services have bills attendant to the provision of services. So this is not a mystery to Bahamians. So I think they just need to be respected, allow them to play a role, be fair, or at least explain what it is you're billing them for, and focus on the long-term relationship with them, because illness can be episodic, and illness can mean that, like with the chronic non-communicable diseases, which is a big burden that we all manage, as the maintenance of health during those episodes of care, maintaining is going to cause them to have a lot of interactions with us in our facilities. So we have to look at the long term, and whether they can or can't afford an episode of care, it's important for us to move away from that and look into, well, in this long-term relationship with you, how do I make sure that it's overall, it is affordable? So the impediment the thing that prevents you from coming to see us must not be that you believe you can't afford us, because you're going to make it much worse, because you're going to put it off. And then eventually, it's going to get so overwhelming. Now, this is not to negate the role and the big role, significant role of the public sector, because it is also incumbent upon us in the private sector to develop those kinds of collaborations where, and we've had examples of that with Doctors Hospital. We've stepped up to the plate overwhelmingly to support the public. The COVID experience, a huge step up to the plate.
We saw that during the COVID era with the Doctors 2 down in Providence and all the other various facilities.
There you go.
So you step right in for the national concern.
Right. And when PMH was overwhelmed the other day, we took on, at any one point in time, we had almost 45 patients that we took care of from the problems of getting parts of PMH right. So we look at the public sector as partners, and that's going to be important for us to just stay focused on the fact that we're not going to compete with the public sector. We are going to complement what they provide. We're going to extend what they provide. We're going to bolster and support, and whenever we're given the opportunity to speak about or speak to, we're going to give credit where credit lies, because there's some amazing healthcare workers in the public sector, amazing, and most of us came out of the public sector.
Agreed.
So, you know, I think it makes no sense for us to start to speak down on something that we're a part of building, you know, different components of the public sector. So my vision is this. There's a lot to do. The private sector runs a business model. The government is the safety net, and it's obliged to take care of, even though it's trying to put, you know, business models in there. But I think ultimately we all got to get to the one place, which is what's the best cooperative, collaborative model in providing health care throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that meets the overall needs. And let's support one another, because Doctors Hospital is an employer of a direct employer of 1,000 Bahamians.
There you go.
And that's not counting those who are contracted to maintain our facilities, provide us other services, etc. So I just think we need to step back and appreciate that the mere fact that you have a public and a private sector means that this is an amazing opportunity for employment and to meet the goals, the dreams of so many Bahamians who are seeking just to excel in whatever profession they've chosen in healthcare.
There you go. Well, Dr. Diggs, thank you. I know much will happen. I know your time frame for the construction completion of the facilities, everything here in Grand Bahama, the expansion throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is going to be another step in that direction. Health Zone is a wonderful program where we get these doctors to talk to you about what's happening in the country. And Doctors Hospital is making a lot of things happen, and we will continue to keep you updated on exactly where we are with that. Much to come in terms of the facility here in Grand Bahama, thanks to the Rockwell Group for making Grand Bahama a second home for Doctors Hospital. I'm Ricardo Lightborn. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
In a world where health is of paramount importance, it's essential to shine a spotlight on men